y'all, it's me, Lady Lee. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my breast reduction tell all. I'm going to talk to you about the process, why I wanted a breast reduction with pictures, and I'm also going to talk to y'all about some tips and just how I'm feeling after the whole thing. So stay tuned. It's going to be a long video, so get some drinks and some snacks and let's get it.
I need her right away.
Got exclusive drip, that just off the rip. Styrofoam cup, come and take a sip. Count up with my hoe, cop another load.
So I'm here with my phone because I'm going to be putting pictures on the screen as I talk about my journey with big boobs. So long story short, my dad's side of the family has very large breasts. I'm talking like G, H, and F. So growing up, I did develop breasts a lot sooner than like my peers. When I was in high school, I had about double D breasts, but they never looked humongous. They kind of fit the proportions of my body. For those of y'all who don't know, I'm 5'10", so I do carry a little more weight than the average person, and so my double D breasts fit my body. I was still super skinny. So here's a picture of me at my high school graduation brunch, and as you can see, like, my breasts aren't that huge, but they were double D's, but they were just very proportionate to my body. Here's another picture of me. This is literally the day that I got my car, like a few weeks before I left for university, my freshman year. I was so excited. But yeah, again, my breasts were super proportionate. And then I went off to college. So this is a picture of me when I came back for my freshman year homecoming. Boobs still relatively the same size. So I would say around 2017 is when my boobs started to really grow exponentially. I got with my boyfriend, and y'all really know how that goes. Happy weight, just like next thing you know, you've gained however many pounds. And I would say my body was gradual, but my boobs just kept growing and growing and growing. So here's a picture from 2018. So I don't really have a lot of pictures from 2017, but here's a picture from 2018 with my cousin at his graduation, and you can see my boobs are just so much bigger. And then here's another picture of me standing straight with both of my cousins, and you can see they don't look as big standing facing forward, but they're still getting really big. And the major thing was I wasn't getting the proper bra size. So throughout this whole time, I'm still like, oh, I'm a double D, oh, maybe a triple D, but I'm never really going and getting my bra size properly and seeing that I have surpassed the triple Ds. And then here's some pictures from 2019. This is really when I started to be like, okay, I think I want a breast reduction. I did my research, and I was just like, these boobs that I have are like great if I was 40 years old with a couple of kids, and you know, but I'm 22 and I just want to feel like a 22-year-old. I don't want to feel like I have these boobs weighing me down. So that's when I really started to get serious. So I talked to my mom about it, and she was so against it. I think she just really didn't want me making changes to my body at such a young age. She didn't want me to regret it, but the more I really just thought about it, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So for about a year, she was against it, like about 2 years actually. All of 2018 and 2019, I would talk to her about it, and she was like, no. My dad didn't really care. He just wanted me to be happy. And my mom was like, you have to go through this whole process. She was not messing with it. So I just kept being consistent, and I just kept going on about my life. And this is probably when I was like, okay, my boobs are way too big. This is August 2020. So my boyfriend and I took a trip to Las Vegas for my birthday. I think that's when I just turned 21. So as you can see, like in this white shirt, my boobs are hanging below the line where your bra should be. So here's a picture at the pool. My boobs were hanging out at the side of the bikini top and the bottom. They were just so huge, and so many people were like complimenting me and loving it, but it was actually really hard to find a swimsuit that wasn't $100+ that was gonna fit my boobs on the top. So it was just a lot. Here's some more pictures from me in 2019, and this is really when I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna get serious about a breast reduction. So I started doing my research, and what a lot of people said is if you're gonna go the medical route, which initially I was, they said that you should try to lose weight first, because a lot of times your insurance is not going to cover it if you don't try to lose weight. That's something they might want you to do first. So I would say about July 2020, when I was really doing my research and I was really kind of depressed about my body image, it was just getting to the point where I felt like whenever people would take a picture of me, if you looked at the picture, the first thing that you would see is my boobs. Like, you're not looking at my face, my hair, anything else, you're looking at my boobs because they're just that huge and they were no longer proportional to the rest of my body. So I would say around July 2020, I got really serious about losing weight. June, July, and August, I lost about 30 pounds. If y'all want a video about that and my weight loss journey, feel free to comment below. But I lost 30 plus pounds and my boobs did not shrink at all. In fact, they were continuing to kind of get bigger. I don't know if it was just like the swelling from my cycle and things like that, but they just didn't shrink and I was just so distraught. I went to a few different doctors. The first doctor I went to, everybody was nice, but the lady at the front desk, her plastic surgery was extreme and it wasn't very inviting. Like, it seemed like she had a lot of Botox and she was still very beautiful, but it was extreme and it didn't look the best in my opinion. So that was my first turn off. I was like, okay. And then I went back and the doctor just wasn't very welcoming. I spent most of my time with his assistant and she's actually not a doctor. She's just his assistant. She didn't go to school for medicine or anything like that. So she really just helps out, and I didn't necessarily like that because I really want you to have extensive knowledge about the process. So if I ask you questions, I don't want you to have to go to the doctor. I want you to know the answers, and if you need to clarify with the doctor, that's kind of more of my speed. So we ended up not being a good fit. And so then I scheduled a few more consultations with a few other doctors and I found my doctor, Ronald Freeman. He's amazing. And this is why I want to give y'all some tips for when you are going through the process of trying to find a surgeon. The first thing I would say is figure out if you want to pay through insurance or if you're going to be paying out of pocket. So I originally started my search by saying, okay, I'm going to go through insurance. I'm going to get my insurance to try to cover me. Because there's different steps that you need to take depending on which one you're doing. If you're going to try to get your insurance to cover it, then you probably need to go to your primary care physician or a chiropractor and kind of start, or a physical therapist, and kind of start talking about the pains that you're going through because of your large breasts. That's the first thing. You want to have a trail of like, this day I told my doctor that, oh, I can't, it's not bearable, and even exaggerate if you need to, because you want your insurance to have no doubt in their mind that you need a breast reduction. So I started off going the medical route and I started looking for doctors who took insurance. What I was finding is a lot of doctors no longer take insurance because it's just hard to go through the claims process and getting approved and then them getting their money after the fact. So a lot of doctors near me, I do live in Dallas, were actually going away from the route of paying through insurance. And so that's something that I had to know. Another thing is when you go to doctors who pay through insurance, there's a certain amount based on your insurance. There's a certain amount of breast tissue that they have to take to reduce in order for them to feel like you've been deemed like healed of the handicaps you had from having large breasts. So for example, they have to take away so much tissue so your back pain will go away or your neck pain will go away. So that's something to think about. You might have to go a smaller size than what you intended, but remember, boobs do grow back as you gain weight. Another thing is if you're looking for extra additional services, for example, my doctor, which we'll talk about later, also performed liposuction. That is something that your insurance is not going to cover, but that's something that a lot of people need after so much tissue is taken away. You want to get that fat away as well, so you look proportional and you look nice. The next thing I would recommend is read all the Google reviews about that surgeon. Even read the reviews for surgeries they perform that aren't breast reconstruction surgery. So if they did like a tummy tuck or a 360 lipo on a different type of patient, read into that. You want to know everything, every flaw, everything that somebody else didn't like. You want to know all of those things going in. So I personally use Real Self. I love it because women can go on there and post anonymous pictures and really reviews about their whole journey, which I did I'll be leaving my real self review below. So if you're looking for in-depth images of my boobs before and after and kind of during the whole process of healing, I'm putting them there. So I was able to read a lot of raw reviews about my surgeon and other surgeons, and that's why I lean towards my surgeon. So the next thing that I would do is to book a consultation with surgeons that you're interested in. So what I was finding when I was booking consultations is they were like, oh, it's going to be $250 and that goes towards your surgery. And I was like, no, because I want to test the waters before I just commit. Like, I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, here's my money and let's go on with the surgery and I haven't even met you. So a lot of the times you're going to have to specify with these doctors, like, I just want to meet the doctor. I don't want to pay any money towards my surgery. I just want to pay for a basic consultation fee to meet the doctor. And a lot of times they'll charge you a different price, like $75, $50, something in that range. And if you do end up booking with that surgeon, that amount will go towards your overall surgery costs. So that's something to know. Also, don't go out giving your insurance information to every doctor that you go see, because sometimes these doctors will go ahead and try to file a claim with your insurance without your approval. So if they ask for your insurance, say, hey, I'm just booking a consultation. I'm not really interested in giving that information out until I'm 100% sure I want to move forward with you. And know that they are going to push back on you, but know that it is in your right to not give up this information. So if you're filling out a form online for a consultation, don't put it. Call the office and say, hey, this is what I want. I'm not going to give you that information until I'm ready. So my last tip is to ask for pictures. So another thing that I noticed when I was visiting all of the different surgeons is that a lot of them have pictures on their website, and then they have a book of pictures when you go, but a lot of them use the same 5 pictures on their website that they use in their book. I want to see every boob that you have done for the past 20 years. And a lot of surgeons also have outdated pictures. So the book will be like 2002. No. In 2002, your work might have been great, but what is your work like in 2020 and now 2021? So ask them for updated pictures. You want to ask as many questions as possible. You want to see what your boobs are going to look like. Also, ask if you can speak to a previous patient who's of similar build and similar size and similar age of you. I was able to speak with someone who had a breast reduction surgery 2 years prior. She was about the same age, and she told me she loved it. She had no complications. They did a great job, and it was actually not painful at all. She actually told me that getting her wisdom teeth pulled was a lot more painful, and that really struck with me because I had just got my wisdom teeth pulled in July, and that was the time when I was really doing this process. So ask if you can speak to other patients. If they're like, no, we don't do that, that might be a red flag for you. So I went in for a consultation with my specific surgeon, and he was able to take a look at my breasts and really just talk to me about the symptoms I was having and the reasons that I wanted a breast reduction. So he measured my boob from chest to nipple, and he told me that on my right boob I was measuring about, what was it? It was like 17.5 centimeters, and on my left boob, which is my larger, very much larger breast, I was measuring about 18.5 centimeters, somewhere around there. And he basically told me that there's 2 different techniques that he does when he does breast surgeries. There's the anchor technique and the free nipple grafting. So the anchor technique which is what I ended up getting, is when they do an incision around your areola, and then they go down to the chest and then under your breast. And that's also what your scarring is going to look like. The free nipple grafting is when they take the entire nipple off and then they reattach it. Typical person's measurement from chest to nipple is 7.5 centimeters. So he has to do free nipple grafting if you are 19 centimeters and above. And so he said, because I was, kind of in the cusp, he told me that he was going to allow me to choose which technique that I wanted. Now, he was like, you are an African American woman. If we detach the nipple, you're going to lose pigmentation. So what happens is you start to look kind of spotted, and it looked like essentially a cow. He showed me pictures, and there were these women of color whose nipples were white, like a white woman. And he was like, you can end up getting them tattooed, and I was like, yeah, that's more money. I'm not really trying to do that. But he also let me know that if he did free nipple grafting, he could go as small as he wanted because he wasn't worried about keeping those blood streams intact. So I was like, but he told me that he could do the anchor technique, but he wasn't going to be able to take off as much tissue. So I ended up deciding to go with the anchor technique because I'm not trying to tattoo my nipples, and my nipples look great now. So I went to check out and pay for my consultation fee, and I was like, okay, so when do I give y'all my insurance and things like that, because I was ready to move forward with this doctor. She was like, oh, we don't take insurance, and she was giving me the reasons why, which I've stated before, and I was like, oh, so how much is it gonna cost? And she was like, and I was like, So yeah. So I ended up being really sad because I had fallen in love with this surgeon, but it was just so expensive. Well, I was blessed, and my dad ended up saying that he'd pay for the surgery because I was in love with this surgeon. So I scheduled my surgery for December 8th. I had my pre-op appointment the day before Thanksgiving, November 25th, and then I was ready to go. If you haven't watched my breast reduction surgery vlog, where I vlog the day of surgery and then after that, I would definitely encourage you to do so. So some other reasons why I chose my doctor is because even though he was in a hospital, I like that he had his own surgery room. So he only does one patient at a time. So he has, you know, the rooms that he sees you for a visit, and then he has the surgery room, he has 2 recovery beds, and then he has 1 operation table. So he only does 1 operation at a time, and he takes his time. Like when my mom came the day of surgery and asked him, how long is it gonna take? He was like, maybe 6 hours, maybe 8. Like he was just like, I'm really gonna take my time, and if I'm not satisfied, I'm not letting her leave. So that's one thing I love, because you don't want your surgeon running off like, oh man, I gotta go do a tummy tuck. Like, that's not okay. So I like that he took his time and he was dedicated to me. Another thing I liked is that all of the staff were certified. Like they weren't just, they went to medical school, and so all of the staff actually on the day of assisted with the surgery. So it was very much a close-knit family. The day of my surgery, they played my favorite music to make me comfortable. It was really just such a welcoming environment, and I would recommend my surgeon to everybody in the DFW area, and even people who are willing to fly in. I just love my results so much. So that is all for my breast reduction tell all. I hope y'all gained so much knowledge. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Again, go on Real Self. The link will be in the description box for you to see all about my experience, my review, and pictures. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next video.
Got exclusive drip, that just off the whip. Styrofoam cup, come and take a sip.